Now then, people, good evening and welcome back to the final word of the season, the one that's seen Leeds United promoted as champions. Danny was joining us, and then it's gone for as soon as the intro started. Hopefully, she can sort it out and come back. JT will be joining us as well from a hotel in Leeds somewhere. He's just popped out for some dinner. He's going to come back. He says he's 14 minutes away from his location. So we'll wait for JT to come in. Luke and Jack have met for some food, I think. So they're out having some food in Leeds somewhere. So it is us four. Hopefully Danny, who was making a debut tonight, hopefully she'll be back. And like I said, JT, not Danny Farker, no. I wish on the day that it was announced by Parag Marathi that he stays, and that we'll get into that towards the end. But before we do, obviously, we can get into what was a momentous occasion, a momentous result in the manner Leeds wouldn't do it any other way, really, I guess. For us to win in such late fashion, 91st minute, I think it was. It was absolutely insane. Everyone will celebrate in their own unique way. And then tomorrow we all get to celebrate together, those that can be there anyway. So, amazing. Loads for us to get our teeth into. So without further ado, let's do that. Andrea, everyone's favourite Italian. How was it for you, my man? What an amazing day. And yeah, let's just talk about what emotions you went through and stuff first before we even dissect the game.
Well, man, pure ecstasy, when you win a league like that, I think everyone will remember that in ages, because the emotions really run high. It's one of the moments that embodies what Leeds United is about, We had so many of those moments this season with those late goals, I think we were the team, I read the stat yesterday, were the team that scored most after the 82nd minute this season in the league, so late on. But yeah, man, I jumped all around the the living room here, but absolutely, we deserve that. That's what I want to say first and foremost. Leeds United deserve to be champions. Okay, we were par with Burnley. They had a great season too, but for a bad game in Plymouth, because the performance, I think they were really, really tired yesterday, I think. And when a season is so demanding, it can be all right to have a day where you struggle more, I think Plymouth put up a good fight, so fair play to them, because they had nothing to play for. They really wanted to. They were professional. They were. They show sportsmanlike, because Millwall had to play for the playoff place. Plymouth had nothing to play for, but they really gave us a good fight. They really wanted to play a part in the title race, So fair play to them. They were. I didn't like them because they were, putting on a proper fight, but fair play at the end of the day. So yeah, I think the performance was not the best one, but who cares, honestly? You have to look at the whole picture. We were the most consistent team in terms of mentality, because when we needed to step up, to step into the game in the key moments of the season, we always did. So absolutely, even after we dropped to first, we bounced back. We got back two crucial away wins, Borough and Oxford. So absolutely, we deserve to win this trophy, and everyone connected to Leeds United deserves that, because I think the last two seasons, they were tough on many points. Farke sorted the club out. The 49ers cleared. Finally, now the mess that was left behind, especially in the transfers, with all those clauses, those contracts, a Club United, because you see that by how much Gilavogi was involved and, cherished by the other players during the celebrations. You see that by the fans applauding and cheering on Melia. He did some mistakes this season, some key mistakes. He lost his place, but the fans still were appreciative of him. Ramazani had his good moments this season, but after the injury, he had his minutes limited. But he was at the center of the party. You see that by Harry Gray, not just at the center, center, left, right, behind, everywhere basically. But yeah, I think the group was the key this season, and it shows you that when you have the good manager and you have the good players for a squad in terms of collective, it works better than it was last season, where we were really relying on more on individual performances like Somerville and Rotter. So we absolutely deserve everyone at the club. So absolutely have to thank the players, the manager, because I think the 80% of this promotion is on the manager, to be fair, because he did a great job. It wasn't easy. People say, oh, but we gained Solomon, we gained Tanaka. Yeah, but we lost Rotter, we lost Gray, we lost Somerville. Those three were three of the best players in the league last season. It's not easy to rebuild. Okay, we replace them with proper players like Solomon, Tanaka, Rothwell, great contribution when called upon, Jaden Bogle, but it wasn't easy. So I think everyone says, yeah, we had a great squad. Yeah, but we built a great squad with a great manager, because we had a great squad too last season, but we lost three proper players in for the championship that were a level above. But yeah, absolutely everyone, you, Joe, for the hard work you put in, Loki, all these scouting reports, all this knowledge, everyone in the space, I think everyone in the space was always there, supportive of the players, supportive of the manager too. I mean, not just you, but everyone extended in the community, I think is everyone deserves it. Leeds, champions again, ole ole. Yeah.
Perfect way to end. You're right. And Parag put it in his piece to the press, actually, about the playing personnel and the manager understanding that it's greater than the sum of its parts. And it's not about one individual or one player. It's about the group and bringing in the right characters. And obviously, we've seen that's seen us get over the line. Lockie, I've not, to be honest, I started to worry about you, mate, because you weren't active in any of the WhatsApp groups up until today. So I was like, has he just gone on a mad bender with his dad or whatever? Where's he been at? How was it for you, mate? Great occasion, man. Great result.
No, that'll be tomorrow, mate, when that happens. Don't worry. The old man, he'll be coming to Leeds, so I'm buzzing. I can't wait. Not been to a game with him or a Leeds thing for years now, so that's going to be a memory, definitely. But yeah, I was like Farker. I was just sat, just reflecting on it, just without getting to it's been quite tough at times this year. I'm sure it has for a lot of guys in here as well and girls in here. So, and then the football team is that escape. It's just that little bit of joy that you've got every weekend. During the week, Leeds are playing. Oh, I love that. Every time Leeds are on this weekend, it just gives you a little bit of something. And they've been doing it now all year, for 2 years, really. And, going to the playoff final last year and seeing the emotion on a lot of their faces, it proper hurt. It proper hurt that. And looking at Ampadu, crying and Fart consoling him, I felt like this is it now. This might be... That ain't going to happen again is what I was thinking. That can't happen again. They've been through that now. And yesterday was just, honestly, I sat in silence for ages. My girlfriend came back. She thought I was in a mood, but I was like, I've just got nothing. I've got no energy. I've got nothing left. It's all gone out of me. And those are the moments where you can just sit and reflect and smile. And that's what I did, mate. So yeah, I'm still going through it a little bit. It means so much to a lot of people, this football club. So big up all them players, the manager, like Andrea said, everyone in here, everyone that comments, big up everyone, because this club is so big and so important to a lot of people. So I'm just happy.
Man, yes. I've seen, I just want to connect briefly to what Lucky said. I've seen videos of people in Bali, Thailand, Argentina, the bar in the Camden in Dublin. There were 2 floors full of Leeds fans watching the game in Dublin. This club is so huge. So this is for everyone, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And I think Leeds just got back as well. Have the players just got back into Leeds? There's been
no, they got back last night. They went to they pulled up at the Doubletree Hilton just outside Leeds. So right on the river, because there's some absolutely lucky sons of bitches that were there just as the bus pulled up, and they saw them all. So there's a video of
it's doing the rounds now. On Twitter,
that was yesterday. That was yesterday when they got back. So that's where they had the party last night. It was just brilliant.
Yeah,
there's a picture of Oscar with Gilavogi.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. And Jack and Tash were in there as well. To be fair to them,
Although to be fair, Schmidt did look like he'd been taken hostage.
Yeah, like who are they? I love that, mate. It's going to be someday tomorrow, it is. Oh, it's going to be so good on the mic and all that jazz. Yeah, it's just going to be a great time to be a Leeds United fan. It's quite funny because yesterday was the same day that we did the parade back in '92, and it was fitting. And you think, and I think about that, and I go, "Can I was 4?" So I'm now, and obviously I didn't go. I was 4, like bloody hell, but now I'm 37. Do you know what I mean? So it shows you that it doesn't happen all the time. So when it does, fucking enjoy it, man, because I might never get a parade like this ever again. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, Paul. Lockie said he'd be big up Lockie. Everyone keeps asking Lockie, man. Scouting. So you've got a busy summer ahead of it. Again,
Give us a few days rest.
Yeah. You're right, though. Just on that, before I go to Paul, like, yesterday I was like, I'll do a championship stream and all that and do all that. And I picked up my kids and then I just thought, I'm fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
I just want to sit at home. Do you know what I mean? I just want to and just not do anything. So that's what I did. But yeah, Paul, over to you, my man. How was it for you, pal?
Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Like Lockie, I was, by the time it was all confirmed and everything and done and finished and signed off and the championship was won, I was just kind of, after I'd gotten all the giddiness out of me, I was just kind of sat there and I was just like, I'm absolutely spent. I genuinely don't know how to feel or what to do with myself because there's been so much emotion, so much passion, so much annoyance, so much excitement. Everything has just gone into this season. I think everybody has kind of felt how important and how stressful this particular season was for us. And I use the us as the royal us. I mean, for the club, from a point of view, financial point of view, and things that were going to be started, and just from a point of view of PSR, all that kind of stuff, and then us as content creators pulling all of that round, and just yesterday was just sort of like the cream on the top. It's like we've been on a party for 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? The promotion was confirmed and everything and all of that good stuff, and then it's just been a really, really nice, enjoyable time since then. And then yesterday was the one time where there was suddenly jeopardy came back into it again. We all got excited because Millwall scored and then Burnley equalised within 90 seconds. And we're all like, oh, right, okay, we'll carry on. And then Millwall miss an absolute open goal. I mean, the video of that is hilarious, by the way. But somebody was saying as well, had we got the same points as last season, we still would have gone up. We still would have beat. We still would have gone up this season.
Yeah.
But it just, what we've managed to achieve, and you have to give plaudits to Burnley. They've done phenomenally well. Just not quite good as what we've done. It's that simple. It comes down to margins. We scored when we needed to. We both broke the record for number of goals conceded, all of that kind of stuff. Just the records that have tumbled this season, everything. It's just been phenomenal. I'm sat watching the game just thinking, I actually don't think we're going to do this. There's no way we can pull another 90-minute winner out of the hat. There's no way we can do that for a fourth time, this season. There's no way that can happen again. And we just did. We did it. We did it again. Yeah. We did it again. And just to watch literally the entire away end go from the top and like just a group of people fall all the way down to the front was just a beautiful thing to watch. As was the guy in black who was in the Swansea end when we scored, that jumped out onto the pitch, ran round, and then jumped into the Leeds fans because he was clearly a Leeds fan. And obviously, like Lewis Dayton as well, for God's sakes, gets a ticket into the away end. How good were those into the home end? How good were those fans with him, by the way? And then he makes it back into the away end. Just everything about this season has just been, it's just been wonderful. But I'm knackered. I'm absolutely physically, emotionally done. And tomorrow is going to be incredible. I'm taking my son to it. He's only 5, but he's excited more so because he's going on a train. But I'm just looking forward to it tomorrow to give him that and sort of really start his journey with football as well. Obviously, I'm going to tell him it's not always like this, but just that's his journey with football. I mean, such a good mood. I mean, from a mental point of view, for me, it's been phenomenally good. So, yeah, I'm a happy boy.
Yeah, same. Sorry, I'm yawning here. Because
the season is getting to you now.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's time for rest, innit, Andrea? It's time
all the
to
games
put our
played.
feet up. Yeah.
All the others you scored.
Ugly, are we talking ugly at Portsmouth? The mad thing is, did you see the picture of the guy who was security behind Ampadu? He looked dead ringer for me, like someone said to Joseph security. Basically, any ball man with a ginger beard, I get everyone goes, "Oh, Joe, I thought that was you." Have you seen the Plymouth fan giving it the big one in the fan? No. Someone said that was you as well. I was like, why? Because he's got tattoos in his balls. Like, what are we doing here? But the security guard genuinely did look like me. I won't lie to you.
Just to comment on David's comment that's on there. If we'd gotten the same point, the points for last season, they would have got us up this season, is what I meant to say. Sorry, I flipped it around the wrong way around.
It made sense to me, mate. It made sense.
So the points we got last season would have gotten us up this season.
Yeah. Last season was a bit of an anomaly. Obviously, I know now Sheffield United also ended up on 90, so that's another season where 3 teams have ended up on 90. So that is becoming more normal now. But last season was crazy because if you think about it, like Southampton got 87 as well. So that's like they were 1 win away from 4 on 90. The insane thing is, the league's changing, right? You've got a team who've got 100 points. I've gone on a 30-odd game unbeaten run. I haven't lost at home in the second. It's like, how? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? How is that possible? But that also, there should be so much heap or praise heaped on us for our, for how well we've played, you know, to beat a team. Like if you were to say, and you didn't know it season, that a team had gone 30-odd games unbeaten, haven't lost at home, and all this you got, they've dicked the league, and then you're like, well, actually, they came second. So the response to that would be, well, bloody hell, how good must the team in first been? But for some reason, some Leeds fans don't see it as that. But it should be like that because we've been phenomenal. And to win it in the manner that we did was just insane. Talking about the game, Andrea, like you said, it weren't great. I genuinely thought, having seen us against Stoke and Bristol City, we were just purring, man. We were there, and then obviously we went and. Even before they scored, we weren't great. We weren't creating loads. It wasn't vintage Leeds United. Maybe there was a bit of hangover potentially after, you know, knowing we were getting promoted, etc. But the game as a spectacle wasn't amazing. But obviously the end result, you couldn't do it any other way, man. I'm telling you. It was like the Championship Aguero moment, weren't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish we had like Natasha Bedingfield mid-song. Standing and then it's like it's Solomon. Do you know what I
mean? Like I said to Lockie yesterday, you know, it looks like a scene of the In-Betweeners, you know, from an In-Betweeners movie when they go dancing, you know, around the dance floor. You know, there's Burnley playing, I think, Brownlee or Cullen, you know, singing alone next to her, you know. But yeah, for a play to them too, you know, everyone has his singers. I think the Kaiser Chiefs are way better, by the way. But yeah, I think the energy yesterday in the press was strained. Because in the last month we played so many games that were absolutely on edge, but the pressure was sky high, you know, was skyrocketed before those games. So especially after we dropped to third, it drops a lot of the energy, took all that energy, and I think yesterday we won it because we really wanted it, you know, because athletically, physically, we looked really, really, really tired, you know. The passing was slower compared to the last games. Especially, you know, we relied more, even in the second half. It looked like more like last season with Somerville, you know, yesterday, because we relied on Solomon, especially practically for the whole second half, you know, on his 1v1s, because he was practically the only one sharp with some energy left, you know. We managed to score when Bogle went to the other side and they disallowed another clear goal, you know. But yeah, that's the championship for you. Bye-bye Football League. Finally, we have VAR. I think it's better to have VAR. People say, no, scrap VAR because it's not good for emotions. But in those cases, it's good VAR, you know, because so many goals, you know, the Bamford one at Borough this season, you know, so many goals. But yeah, I think Tanaka and Solomon were the ones who were better yesterday.
Yeah.
If you look at the world picture, I think the substitution of Byron with Berber wasn't great. You know me, I'm not a big fan of Berber on the left back because he's not plain and simple a left back. And I'm really intrigued to see how.
Do you
how
think
he
that
goes
was just
next
because
season.
he was left-footed, though, Andrea? Because I
Yeah,
think,
absolutely.
like,
Absolutely.
he actually plays the pass into Nonto that then gives it to Solomon that we end up scoring from. So I do think, I agree with you. When he made that change, I went, what the, like, we need to. But I do think it was as simple as I want a left footer out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but you know, I don't know if you watched the Barcelona Inter game, you know, in Champions League recently. There's a left back
Oh yeah,
at Barcelona,
Sorry. Yeah.
Gerard Martin. He's the same as Voba, you know, basically, not in terms of levels, but when he was down there, it was every time passing the ball back because he only uses his left foot. He doesn't have the pace to do the 1v1s or the overlap, so he just passed the ball around. So I didn't like the substitution, but yeah, overall, I think Aronson didn't have a good game too. They look really, really tired, but you know, it's acceptable at this stage. We had the Stoke game. There was also the other games, Oxford, Boro. Lots of games where they need to push beyond their limits, and they did. So I'm absolutely okay with it. I think it's still insane, honestly, unacceptable to be fair. It's good to have a chat about a game, but it's still unacceptable that there were harsh comments yesterday after a season where you are already promoted and you're playing. Of course, everyone of us wanted to get the title because you lift the trophy, you do a parade with the trophy. And by the way, everyone going on tomorrow, enjoy it, for me too. But yeah, everyone wanted that trophy. We did it because in the end, Solomon with a moment of individual brilliance. But it was insane. Like people saying, oh, if Farke doesn't get the trophy, maybe the 49ers will sack him. If Farke, this game is showing that Farke doesn't do good with substitutions. But yeah, we were promoted with yesterday 100 points, but before 97. And there's still people talking about this manager not being good. Okay, he has some things that he needs to improve, but he got us over the line. Sometimes remember that he has worked all season without his key role, the number 10. And we played all season with Aronson there. And in recent games, Aronson wasn't that great, to be fair. He struggled. I think he was really drained physically too. But overall, I'm really, really glad that Prague went out. Every time I say Prague now, I think of Jack City. It's mind-blowing now because of that thing, you know. Now I associate Prague with Jack every time. But by the way, I'm very glad that Prague got it the European way this time, because in American sports, they say no comment and it's off. No further comment. But in European sports, no comment means there's some truth in that.
Yeah.
Because on a perspective, you don't shut down the rumors. And by not shutting down, I think you realized that they needed to be more harsh back then when they said no comment when the press asked them. Because now that he did, he said, I ended the speculation. Park is going to stay. He's going to be our manager. Yeah, he had a contract. I think they needed to say the first time. We are fully focused on supporting Daniel and the players towards the end of the season and the title race. That would have been like delaying it or rebuffing it. Yeah,
rebuffing. Yeah.
Rebuffing it. Yeah, but now he did it. I think it's the European way is better, you know, because now there's no room for speculation. There's no Mourinho, no other names linked, you know. By the way, I've seen some mad names linked, you know. And like I said at the start of the season when there was complacency, just because we are Leeds United and us fans, we know the magnitude and the history of this club, but it doesn't mean anything from an outside perspective, because in the environment, you know, in football, from abroad, for managers, for players, we're just another newly promoted club. They don't know the history of Leeds United. They don't care as we do, you know. So we are a club with the magnitude and the history of all these teams that are battling for Europe in the Premier League. But it doesn't mean anything next season. You know, we need to stay up. And I've seen Thomas Frank, I've seen Thiago Motta, I've seen Mourinho. Mourinho, maybe there's some truth in it, honestly, to be fair, because he wants to get back to England. And I think he'll try to get a new job in England very soon. But honestly, even the names of Thomas Frank, or Dedin Terzic too, honestly, we're not that team yet. We need to build. And I think with Farke, if you give him proper backing, because again, people say, oh, we didn't do well with Norwich. Yeah, but look at the squad Norwich had. The millions that they spent. I think the first season, they only spent £7 million.
7, yeah.
Yeah, in the first season in the Premier League. And you don't stay up with the gap widening season after season with the squad that Norwich had the first season. Maybe the squad he had the season when he got back into the Premier League was better because they spent more, but the gap had widened again because the spending is surging in the Premier League season after season. So I think Farke is the right man to guide us with the proper backing. And Barak said, we're going to spend to the last penny. So that's music. That's music for me.
Exactly. You're right. He said every single penny. Lockie, let's talk on it then. Obviously, I was a little bit nervous at points that they might make a decision. I wouldn't have agreed with it, but I sort of like, it depends. If you did replace him, you need to ensure it's the right man and we stay up. Otherwise, we'll always look back and say, you got it wrong. But, I guess Parag, I think, has already admitted that he'd already had the conversation with Farke and said, listen, don't listen to that. We'll talk about it officially soon, and they did that. And obviously this conversation probably was had maybe yesterday or whatever, and then they've only just obviously released it today, everyone at the same time, wasn't it? So are you happy, over the moon, that Farke's been given an opportunity to continue what he started?
Yeah, of course. I think I agree with Andre that I actually think before the end of the season they probably weren't 100% sure. I think they did want to see what happened. They did want to see if they were this outstanding candidate, because that's what you do. That's the normal thing to do, right? But clearly that was never going to really happen. So by doing that, they've had the conversation now after the season, the right time. As soon as they've had that conversation, we know the result. The manager's staying, and he's done everything he needs to when he joined Leeds United, is what he agreed to do. And he's done that better, 100 points, almost 100 goals. What can you ask? The annoyance I've got with all this is it's the fact that, so if people say, oh, subs are too late, shouldn't get a job in the Premier. It's the fact that every other candidate is perfect. Every other manager is perfect. And Farke's the only one that has problem. I guarantee every manager, every fan of every other club has one problem with their manager, no matter who that is. I even see Man City fans complain about Pep. There's so many. No one's perfect. There's always defects to every system, every game. What you can't ruin, this is what I mentioned last time, I think, when I was on here. What you can't take away is that feeling. Sorry, I can hear myself 3 times.
I think it was JT. Is it sorted now?
There's an England player have joined from St. George's Park,
Not quite St. George's Park, my man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The sunny side of Leeds. The sunny side of Leeds. That's exactly where I am, mate. I don't know where the heck I'm going, man. I'm like a lost pigeon around here.
One thing.
What are you saying, Lucky?
Going into
what am I saying? I'm on a good day, mate. I'm having a great day. I'm down here in Leeds for the old parade tomorrow.
Everyone else had their fucking say.
Lockie was chatting, JT. I'll come to you. Don't worry. Lockie, what were you saying?
Sorry. I thought it's disconnecting all over the gaff. Sorry.
Right, where were I? I don't know, mate. Go to someone else. I've lost my train.
I've lost it. He's raging.
Andreas spoke for 5 minutes, not one interruption.
I talked to JT and said, don't jump in when I'm talking. So I said, wait for Lockie when Lockie's talking.
That's my fault. That's my fault for bringing people
my striker as well. I'd expect
I
that.
know, man. I know. Right, let's welcome in Dan the man, the coach of the Yorkshire Roses. By the way, I got a T-shirt.
Oh, Paul's outnumbered now. Paul don't want to even look. He don't want to look at the team.
Women, Yorkshire Roses, and it says on front.
We're all here.
El Capitan. El Capitan. I love it. But
Did you give yourself that nickname?
no, man, it got sent with that on, mate. So I don't know. Like, I swear to God, I was like, oh, nice. I like this.
I think I've had a bit of an insight into what JT is going to be like in the changing room as well.
Yeah, man. He's definitely going to be wild. He's definitely going to be wild. Dan, you have been celebrating you and Lucy. Folks might remember Lucy, actually. She used to come on the channel a lot. This is her better half. The other half.
Definitely not better.
No, but massive Leeds fan. We'll be there tomorrow as well. Goes to games. Dan, talk to me, mate. I know you've been an advocate of the manager and the way we've played, and probably see it differently to some because obviously you do a bit of coaching and whatnot yourself. So, how was it yesterday for you in this season as a whole? I guess.
Yeah, for the season on the manager, I think the main thing is to look at. I actually put a tweet about it earlier. It's a lot of people are looking at the stats, this, that, what he's done previously in the Premier League, things like that. But at the end of the day, he's actually physically managing human beings. And if you look at the group yesterday and over the last few days and how he's pulled them together at the end of the season, you can see that it's his stamp all over the team. He is the main man there. He's got everybody under control. He's got everybody working off to a way that he wants to work. And I just feel like getting rid of him at any point sort of between now and even a few games in, because there's still going to be new players coming, bedding in, getting used to the system, getting used to the city. And these sort of things, people don't look into that when they're just watching 90 minutes football. These players have got to go home to the wives, to the children, to the new city. And he sort of brought that group together. And you can see what it was like. It looks like more of a team than last season as well. Yeah. And people can talk about his subs, talk about how late he leaves it. It does get me frustrated. It gets other people frustrated. But at the end of the day, he's a manager in the Championship that's pulling together all these players at, you know, such a crucial time of the season in such a big club with all the pressure on him. And he's got the confidence to come out and say 100% we're going to be in the Premier League next season. And that's sort of, I think it was a bit of people were calling for Jose and people like that to be in charge. I think he pulled a bit of a sort of a Jose masterclass there in that press conference by taking the pressure off the players, and he put it all on him. Everybody was just talking about him. No one was talking about, you know, are the fullbacks too high? Is Tanaka playing it too slow? Is this happening? Everything was on him when he said that. And I think you can only be judged on your surroundings as a manager and what you've got to work with. Norwich obviously didn't go well because of the money that he had there. The players probably weren't right for the Premier League either. He did have a lot of sort of, if you look at the players that he went with Norwich, he had quite a physical, plodding team. He had big players and just a couple of fullbacks that were fast. I don't think that suited the Premier League. I think he's learned from that. He's got some ball players in midfield now. The fullbacks do push on, but what he's learned now is the two midfielders sit and drop and almost create that back four when the fullbacks are forward. And with Norwich, they were very sort of static when he went up last time. And then your main signing being Sam Byron when you go up. That's just not going to work out, is it? But I think the main thing to take from this season is he's got it under control. He knows what he's doing. He has control from the minute the players walk in. He's got control of the press conferences. He's got control of the press conferences after the games. There are some things that you can work on, that in-game management. I think he's a reactionary manager rather than a front foot manager. But sometimes when you are going for a league, that is what you need because you know that you are the better team. You've got the better players. And if you think them 11 players are the best players to score you a goal from minute one, then you probably think they're going to be the best players to score you a game on minute sort of 78, 82, times like that. So I think that he's got to put a lot of faith in the players that he's got in order to get their support back from him as well. And I think he's just created that sort of unbreakable mentality. And even with the goalkeepers, you can see Melier and Cairns were celebrating with Darlow like nothing had gone off earlier on in the season. They were all together. And I think that's credit to how he has sort of bonded everyone this season. I had a few problems with it last season. I did think it were a bit. I think we had Mavericks. I think we had players that were more bothered about posting on their Instagram their goals rather than 3 points. And one way or another, he's sort of transformed and turned the team around into a unit. And as a manager, him managing a group of players, I don't think you could have asked much more than him. You know, you were screaming all year long, points record. We weren't that far off, you know, a few problems here and there last minute, you know, thinking when we sat at Ellen Road and Blackburn equalised, obviously the Sunderland game. There's points that were not in his control that we've lost there, but it could have been what you were saying. And also 5 goals off 100 goals. How many offside goals did we have that were actually legitimate goals? I think there were 5. So I think we got the 100 goals.
We'll take it. Love it. Dan
There was 7. There was 7 offside goals.
Was it
Yeah.
7? Wow. We even had
102.
Yeah. Yeah, great, mate. Loads of mint points made there as well, mate. I was eating out the palm of your hand then. I was just listening. Not to go on. I was enjoying that. JT, man, you're back with us, bro. I didn't do a stream yesterday. You dropped me a message, obviously. I was exhausted, bro, and then messaged you today, and you were like, listen, I'm in Leeds. Oh, boom. I was like, right, let's get you on. Hopefully, I'll meet you. Well, last time we were in Millennium Square, we met, didn't we? Do you remember, bro?
We did, yeah, and you were a little bit shorter than I thought you were online. But, you know, there you go.
But
this guy's tiny, by the way.
I was actually there to meet Connor, and then there's this geezer with binoculars next to him that just happened to be there. So yeah, I was like, Connor, oh, who's this guy next to you? What's that going on?
He asked you for a picture. He asked you for a picture, didn't he, Joe? I think.
He did, man.
He did. Picture, and then this geezer with binoculars put his arm round me from the other side, and I was like, fucking hell, who's this geezer? All right, fair enough, mate.
Remember, he's the captain of our team, so JT.
Yeah, boy.
You still need to consider that.
Yeah, that's true.
And Danny's captain. I'm his voice on the pitch, mate. So watch it.
At the moment, you are, yeah.
No, he is the captain. I appreciate the draft pick, to be fair, and the kind words. Even though you did say I was a midget in those words.
No, but you are a baller, though. You are a baller. I mean,
no, I'm joking. No, I also want to apologise to Lockie. I don't know what happened when I joined, but it was like 3 of you were loading screens, and then it was just silent, and I just heard Andrea say, "Oh, we've got a player from St George's Park," and no one was saying anything. So that's why I was like, "Oh shit, let me say something." I didn't realise maybe it lagged out on Lockie or so. So I apologise. Don't crunch me when we're hitting the training session, mate.
Yeah,
don't give me a 2-footer. But yeah,
I think we need you, JT. I'm not going to do that. Don't worry, mate. I think you're important.
Well, I hope so. Hopefully we can do a job. I reckon we'll do him, to be fair. With El Capitan Joe Wayman, we've got a good manager. We've got a good assistant manager. I think we got him, to be honest with you, mate. I thought we got it with you. But I guess we're here to talk about Leeds.
You should see the scouting report that he sent me on you.
On me?
Yeah.
Well, he's been popping down to the Cricklewood games to have a little look. Say no more.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, listen, man, good time to be alive. I'm running around Leeds. There's a really good vibe around Leeds. You can feel it right now when things are going well. I've been here before when things aren't going well. I've popped round. I don't really know my way around, but I'm seeing a lot of Leeds shirts, a lot of happy people. It's a good time here. And how many of you going to the thing tomorrow, by the way? You're all going? Oh, that's what I like to see, mate. That's what I like to hear. But yeah, on Fark, on Leeds, I heard you guys discussing it. Obviously, I think we all know he is going to be most likely staying, right, for the. It's
confirmed now, mate. It's confirmed.
Yeah,
come out. Yeah.
And I think that is a good decision. I know I've been critical of a lot of his things this season and last season. I didn't like, and I still don't like the 70th minute substitutions. I still don't like him underutilizing Bamford, and when he does bring Bamford on, he takes Aronson off and there's no creation behind him. There are things I don't like, but at the end of the day, he's had a really good defensive record this season. We've offensively been the best side in the league. I think we played the best football by far, in my opinion. He's got us to 100 points tally. We've shown bottling key moments, including the Sheffield United game and the Sunderland game back-to-back. In key moments, he's pulled through for us. So I think, even though we are all fickle and we are football fans, and, you know, the second Mourinho is touted, people are like, well, hang on a second, I could take a Jose Mourinho in the Premier League. He's had a good job. He's done a good job. He was brought in to get us promoted. He's done that with flying colours, despite losing his 3 best players. I think it's too harsh to sack him before we get in the Premier League. So I back the board's decision with that one. I think it's a good choice. And I'm intrigued to see what he can actually do with a little bit of funding behind him. That's more than £9 million that he spent at Norwich. I'm excited to see how his footballing style can actually be implemented, because I think he is actually a little bit more defensively savvy than people give him credit for. They said when he went up with Norwich, he was just trying to play gung-ho football and he was getting caught on the counter-attack. I think he's a bit more defensively savvy than that. With key additions, I actually have a lot of confidence, and I like the way the board are talking. I like the stadium is finally getting pushed forward in terms of priority. It really seems like we're trying to build things, and I don't think the 49ers are very happy with the fact that they've invested in a club which is sat in the 2nd division of English football as it stands. Well, not as it stands, with Premier League now, but I don't think they're happy with that. So I have confidence that they are going to invest a lot. And obviously, as I said, it's just a great time to be a Leeds fan right now. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, the Stoke game and the Bristol City game, you thought these are going to be real crunch games, real crunch games. Bristol City fighting for playoff places. Stoke, Leeds still hadn't confirmed automatic promotion, and we're blowing them out of the water. It's comfortable. We're sat there chilling, 4-0 up after 20 minutes, like flipping heck, this doesn't feel right. Which is why in the final day of the season, that's more like what it's like to support Leeds, and that felt a little bit more normal for me, waiting until the last minute. It made it a bit more exciting even. It felt just wrong the way we beat Stoke and got promoted that day. I was like, you know what? We beat Stoke and then Burnley did the job against Sheffield United. That's not Leeds. That doesn't feel right. I don't know if I could celebrate this to the max. This is just a bit weird, but it was good to revert to normality and have a little bit of limbs at the end of the game. But what do you guys make of the whole season? And actually, I'm intrigued to ask you guys, who would your player of the season be? Because for me, I think it comes down to 3 players. All right. Everyone talks about Dan James, Solomon, and Tanaka, right? I'm pretty sure 90% of people will say one of those 3. Okay, Firpo would also slide into the mix. I got
Rodon as well.
Firpo.
I think
Yeah.
Rodon needs a shout.
Rodon, really good season. But I have to say, man, I was edging towards Dan James or Tanaka for a lot of the season. But unfortunately, his injury and in the last 7 games, I don't think it gets talked about how clutch Solomon has been in these last 7 games of the season. Pretty much buy on every game, maybe 1 or 2 in that he didn't either score or assist. But other than that, key goals. He created the goal yesterday. He scored the goal yesterday. Aside from the 4-0 against Stoke, he's been involved in probably, if I go through the stats, I know Andrea knows more stats than me, 60-70% of our goals he's had some sort of involvement in the last 10 games or so. So I really have to potentially edge it to Solomon if I give it. But I'm intrigued for you guys to say who you would potentially put down for player of the season.
Mine's if I'm going off of the entire season, I agree with you, JT. I think for this last 6 games, Solomon has been absolutely clutch in these last 6 games, without a shadow of a doubt. That's not even up for discussion. But for me, Rodon has been my player of the season. I just think he is just, in terms of his continuity, in terms of his longevity, he's never been injured, in terms of he always likes to take a batter into the face. Take that how you will. But I just think he has been phenomenally good this season. He's just been unbelievably good this season. I think he's been criminally underrated in all of the statos, team of the season type of things. I mean, we won't get into that in terms of team of the season who's been in there. But for me, 100%, it will be Rodon without any question whatsoever at all.
Yeah. I don't know if it's hard, mate, to be honest. On the spot, I'd struggle. I genuinely would. I would struggle to pick it now just on the spot.
I think when you're in the stadium, Rodon really does stand out.
Yeah.
When you're watching it in, not as much on TV, but I've been to, I think, 19 out of 20 odd home games this season. When the main thing he does, he gets the back line up the pitch.
Yep.
But when you're playing against a deep block, what you either need players that can get the ball wide and switch the play quickly, or the way to bring them out is to actually physically run towards them with the ball. The amount of time that he travels forward with the ball, drawing another player out of defence towards him, creating the gap, and then it's a quick pass off to the side is massive. And that brings them out of shape as well. So it's not just his defensive stuff. But for me, at this level, you have to have your best players in the centre of the pitch. You have to have your most reliable players in the centre of the pitch. And then in the wide areas and up top, you have to have your wild cards that can win you a game. You have to have players that you can trust every single week. You can trust to be there, not get sent off, not, do something stupid. And I think the main thing that he has given us is that he's been reliable. He's not dived in. He's not kicked out at anybody. He's not given the ball away that much, apart from a few stray passes. But I think his commitment and the way he has played, drawn defenders out, has been brilliant. I just think that if you have him alongside Strauch, it's a little bit different because Ampadu's a bit more mobile and he does sort of a sweeping job in behind. And I do think he's looked a lot better when he's had that. But when you're in the stadium, you can really see the effect of what Rodon has on the team. He's pushing the defence up. He's talking to everybody. And I think it's a completely different game if you take him out of that back line. So for me, it's him, 100%.
Yeah, that's it. I've never thought of that because I'm a plastic armchair fan who doesn't really go to games much often. So all the sentiment online I'm hearing is that Tanaka is everyone's favourite. But I mean, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit speechless right now. I didn't think that the BBC let their star pundits come online in these kind of midweek fix shows, if you will. I mean, wow. I mean, the new teeth, the new era. Wow. I mean, I'm a little bit starstruck here by what I'm seeing here. He's back.
I'll be fair, when he appeared, it was teeth. That's all that I saw when he appeared. Just that bright, shiny white teeth.
It was like WrestleMania moments,
Yeah,
it was in
like The Rock,
It was like you.
He was in a Plymouth podcast, and then he hopped over into this one. He was in a Plymouth podcast first, then he hopped over the fence into this one.
Yeah.
Oh,
by the way, we want our Leeds fan back.
Come on then, Lewis. Talk to us, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as well, man. First of all, JT.
Yeah.
Hi, mate.
Hello, mate. Good to see you. Long time no speak.
I had these teeth before the BBC. I'll have you know.
Whoa,
in the back end,
sentence goes mad.
Yeah, the back end of the back end of the old days when we used to do the midweek fixing in dark times. But now, now we're back at the Premier League. I've come out the woodwork.
Glory
Sergio's live stream, championship winner live. It's like, I'll come back now. I'll come and see the boys. Yeah, man, I'm good. It's good to see you. How are you? I assume in good spirits.
Very good. Very, very, very good, mate.
Looking forward to tomorrow.
Yes, I can't wait. Definitely.
We were the arse end of the.
Oh, mate. I drove down.
Why did you not just come sooner, man?
Well, because I was watching Burnley, wasn't I? I was watching Burnley.
Right.
And then I drove down and... I know, right, Jim? I was thinking that. He's not only has he got no teeth, his balls have dropped as well.
Yeah, fucking heck, mate.
Hey,
I was going to say.
It might be the mic, man. I don't know. But I had this mic beforehand. What's going on? I think people have just forgotten me, man. People have just forgotten. I'm irrelevant now. It's all about you and certain other people.
In fairness, mate,
certain other people I won't plug.
In fairness, mate, on your videos, you are normally squeaking. So
yeah, that's very true.
To be fair, on your videos, you do squeak. So yeah,
that's very true. Yeah,
that's fair. We were doing Player of the Seasons, weren't we? I think that's a great shout by Dan as well. Rodon. Do you agree, Lewis? Obviously, you're there week in, week out, home and away. Yeah. Do you agree with Dan's shout that Rodon, when you're in the ground, you see like just how good he is? Would he be your pick, or do you have a different opinion?
No, I'd probably have to say Tanaka. I'm assuming that conversation's already been had, but yeah, I mean, in terms of passion and sort of getting people up, but then people do that to him as well. I mean, even yesterday, he said that Tanaka got him up. And then Ampadu said in his post match that it's a team full of leaders. He might wear the armband, but it's a team full of leaders. So, in terms of that aspect, I think they've all got that in them, and it's been much more of a team effort this season, whereas last season it was certain individuals. But this season it's been an all-round effort, and it's hard to pick a player of the season. It's a hard debate, but for me it'd be Tanaka.
Yeah. Does anyone got any different shouts to Rodon or Tanaka? Dan James is obviously.
I have, honestly.
Go on, Andrea.
It's very difficult, honestly.
Let not be Gullivolgi. You've been banging that Gullivolgi drum.
Well, he's the influential
Superstar.
figure in the dressing room. Yeah, influential figure in the
Unsung
dressing room.
hero.
Yeah, unsung hero. It's like the Berardi in this team. I think behind the scenes, so influential, honestly, because he has the experience. He has the. You see how much he's loved by everyone in the squad. So it shows you the magnitude of the player. But he's not my player of the season, of course. So difficult because Rodon did great. Tanaka, a huge upgrade compared to Kamara, honestly, because he gives us so much going forward as in the number 8 compared to Kamara, and especially he shoots towards the goal. That's a big difference too compared to Kamara, because I've never seen Kamara shooting towards the goal, But Bogle too, James too. I think it was smart that he wasn't name at the awards, honestly. But I have to say Solomon, to be fair, because like we said before, he was clutch in the clutch moments. So I think if I look at the whole season, even in moments where he was returning from injury and he was struggling in terms of fitness, he was consistent. I think he was one of the consistent players, even when not assisting or scoring, and he did recently. But even in the build-up, he's a player that links up a lot. Reads well the game into the spaces, goes a lot certainly too in the final third. Sorry, I was saying final word. And gets the space for Verper to do the overlap. So all around, I think Solomon would love to see how much Spurs ask, but I will keep him, honestly. I think he has already tasted the Premier League. If it wasn't for injuries, remember that when he was at Fulham, especially, he was good. But yeah, I will have to see. I've seen. I don't know who posted it. I think Lucky, you posted the one of his Insta story of Solomon saying 8 months ago I wasn't sure I was going back to football because of an injury, and now he has carried those in the recent games with his experience and performances. To back to the Premier League.
Yeah, he almost retired after his injuries, he said, which is crazy. Because when you think about that was a year ago. So we signed him start of the season. So we took a risk on signing him. How was he going to react after injury? We didn't really know, but it took him time, didn't it? But can we deny that in these last 6-7 games, he's dragged us through it, hasn't he? I think he's got.
Well, he said as well, didn't he, that finally he started to believe in his ability again, but also to trust his knee more. So things like where he's curling, where he's cutting inside and then twisting to take the shot. He said it himself, and I've done my ACL. I know what it's like. You don't have the confidence in the strength of your leg to be able to carry you. And he said that it's sort of just recently that he started to be able to feel more confident in that side of things, and it's shown. It's absolutely shown. You're right, Lockie, 100%.
Yeah, but I agree with Lewis. It's Tanaka for me. That first cameo, 5 minutes against Hull? We were weighing the crowd as soon as he came on. I think as soon as that happened, we kind of knew we got a bit of a.
He got 3 chances in one game.
Yeah,
and you've got Dan James, who been here a considerable amount of time, and I know now he's got 3 chances. But what do I have to do?
Yeah,
3 chances. Yeah, he's one of those where everyone just sort of fell in love with him straight away. And I mean, he's pretty good at football as well, which helps.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
You see that team of the season, by the way? Was there a limit?
Terrible.
Oh, sorry, you cut out on my I didn't realize you were speaking.
No, go on. I was agreeing with you. I was saying it was terrible.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying, was there a limit of 3 players per club or something?
Yeah,
about 3 per club.
I was going to say, how did that left back get in over Firpo? Utter woke nonsense, mate. That geezer was rap,
Didn't
whatever he was.
Didn't the company won the league? Didn't they have 4 players in? Roberts, Ian Matson. There was 2 others. That may be wrong, but I was told there was 4 in that one. Unless that was.
It's definitely changed since then because Birmingham in League One only had 3 in that one as well.
Right.
Okay, maybe then.
I was gonna say because I was fuming when I saw that. I saw Bogle in there, and I was like, "Where the heck's Firpo? Who's this geezer who's snagged in a head?"
Do you know what, JT? Actually, man, like, I would mock you for your love of Junior Firpo, and now I want him to get a
Now
new
you're on
deal.
the gravy train.
Yeah,
Now
mate. I've been like, give the guy a new deal. He deserves a
But-
second crack.
But if it's their choice between, if they can only do 3 players, James is obviously going to get in terms of forward line. I mean, Norwich having 2 players. But, I mean, Sargent, fair shout. It's fair shout with Sargent. But, like, if it was between Bogle and Firpo, in terms of neutrals watching it, Bogle's got a bit of both, right? I mean, I know Firpo assist after assist after assist after assist. But in terms of a neutral looking on, Bogle takes on, like, 3-4 men. Will just play attack, like, can assist, can score. If it was between choosing Bogle or Firpo, I can see why they'd have gone with Bogle. Then obviously you got a midfielder and an attacker. Yeah, I can see why. For us, obviously, the arc of Firpo being sort of a joke, especially, you know, like when we used to do this regular and I used to come on regular, obviously there's that on-running joke of Firpo and you always backed him, and now obviously
the Blackpool game,
he's pretty good at football. In the
as I said. It's almost like I was onto something there. It's almost like I wasn't chatting shit.
See if we can do it in the Premier League if he signs on. But as a neutral watching on, they don't get that arc. So from where he was to where he is now, obviously it's a love-in, you know, and everyone's bought into it. And now Firpo's bigged up and taken seriously and assist after assist. Bogle's come in first season, goals, assists. His highlight reel will probably look better than Firpo's in terms of just on the ball. I can see why they've gone with that from a neutral standpoint. But we probably prefer Firpo.
When was it voted for?
Yeah,
when was it voted for?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, you agree.
See, the reason I would edge to Firpo, though, is because of his leadership. And there's been key games in pressurized moments this year. I forgot it was like 5 games ago. It was a really clutch moment. I think it was the Oxford game, actually. And it was the dying embers of the game. They were coming back into it. He literally ran all the way from left back to right wing to calm players down. Like he's telling them, calm down, play small triangles. And the leadership he's shown in patches this season, I think it is excelled 90% of the squad, really. I mean, you're looking at him and Bamford as, and maybe Roden in there as people that are actually calming everyone else around them down and showing great leadership. So that's why I would potentially edge him over Bogle. But as you said, I mean, maybe Bogle's a little bit more flashy on the ball with his dribbling ability and taking people
So
on
from a
and that
neutral
kind of thing.
standpoint of picking a team of the season, they're just going to go with the fullback who's a bit more flashy. Yeah.
I also think that is there another right back that would get anywhere near it in the league?
No, that's the thing as well.
The easy option there is to say Burrows, he's had a half decent season, but we can't find another right back. We're only allowed 3 Leeds players, so we'll go with Bogle, not Firpo, and we've got to get out by saying Burrows has, you know, put a load of penalties away.
Yeah. And then people shouting for Rodon and stuff. I'm like, you can't begrudge the fact that Burnley have conceded 13 goals. It was always going to be them 2 at the back, and then obviously Trafford in net. If we'd have had Trafford, we'd have been up in January. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those.
No, I don't know, man. I think Melier is a bit overhated, but you know,
we're not starting a new arc here, JJ.
No, let's
let's not do that.
We'll be around that. But with the Firpo thing, I think we've seen now on a couple of occasions. I think Ramazani said signed a ting on an Instagram post. If you look at the post on the aeroplane that was posted on Leeds Twitter earlier on, they're all singing the Firpo song. And I'm not sure who it is who shouts. It says, sign the contract. So it's clearly there's one on the table now for him. So are we all, because I know there's still some fans that say, no, he's dead in the water in the Premier League. But are we not a case of like, does he not deserve a second opportunity? I think he does. And it stops us having to buy 2 left backs because I think they sell Voba and we need someone who can play left back for when Firpo might get injured or whatever. If you get rid of Firpo, you're then having to sign 2. So I think it just makes sense to give him a new deal. I personally think 2 years, whatever it may be. Does anyone disagree?
Not do a job there.
No, 3. It's always 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually they want 3 years, you know, when they want to sign a new contract, especially because he'll have offers, another offers that he'll ask, especially now, age, he's 29, 30.
Probably his last big one, isn't it? His last
Yeah,
big
exactly.
contract.
So they want 3 years, 100%. Yeah. And he will have offer. 28. Sorry, he will have offers from Spain. Honestly, I think he's a player that is suited. Suited pretty well in the Bundesliga. To honestly, looking at how they play there, the rhythm, the spacing, because the defenders there, the defenses, are more offensive oriented, in Germany. So yeah, I think we'll have to battle in certain cases if it doesn't get sorted quickly. But yeah, honestly, it's one of the players that has already played in the Premier League. He wasn't great in the Premier League. Honestly, had some good games, but yeah, was plagued by injuries too. So, but right now, if you look at the current fair play, 100%, you need to give him a new contract, and need to give him the money that he wants. Honestly, to be fair,
I think PSR wise as well, it's a massive thing to be able to get a left back that we know and knows the system for virtually free. I think the narrative that's coming from the club at the moment, especially with what Parag said over the last few days about we'll push it right to the edge, we'll do this with the PSR. I do think we're going to be stretched on that. Now, to be able to sign a left back of his quality for free, I think that's going to be a big plus. I mean, if you're looking at what we're dealing with and what we're going to have to go into, if you get a tried and tested left back, as well as Firpo, there's a couple that are out there for free at the end of this season. There's the likes of Ben Davis. There's one that I think may get laughed at, but the likes of someone like an Aaron Cresswell. He's on a free at the end of this season. I think he's 33 years old. If he's your backup option in this league, his set pieces, he's got Premier League experience. He's going to know how the league works, everything like that. If you can solve the one position with zero PSR outlay on that, I think that's going to be massive for the club as well. So I just think it's a no-brainer myself to offer him, even he said 3 years. Get signed.
Lockie, go on. You were gonna.
I was just gonna say, I think he's matured as a player since when he came to Leeds. I think he looks more confident. I know obviously the level of the league, but just as a person, he just looks more confident. I think when he came to Leeds, he looked a bit sheepish at times when he was playing. He didn't really understand what he was doing. He looked a bit overwhelmed, I think, by a lot of performances. But I just think he looks confident in a Leeds shirt now. I think obviously living in the city, being part of the team, understanding the club, I think he'll be a good option because even if, I don't know one fullback in the world that is outstanding defensively and outstanding offensively. And if there is, he ain't playing for Leeds. So for me, yeah, you've got to get an experienced guy in there or maybe a young guy who's decent defensively you can build on. But for me, even in any league in the world, Firpo has a role in that final third. We can't deny that. His movement's outstanding and he'll keep doing that. So I think he'd be a top option. Maybe not start, and that's the competition you need for me. So get another one in, but he just looks a more comfortable player for me now.
You've also got to consider who he was being coached by and who was around him, how the season panned out.
Yeah, loads of
how mentality shift. When we got relegated, it could have easily left. Didn't. Stuck round, dug in the second division, which, considering where I'd come from, probably there are a lot of players that have the mentality of this is way beneath me, and certain players did. But he stuck around 2 years, by the way. Rumours of him not even wanting to be in England. That may still be true, may not. But he got the job done. Obviously got the chance to go with it. JT's just fainted at the point. Just cannot believe his dreams have come true. But I think what I would say is the Premier League is very fast and unforgiving for fullbacks that like a little flutter in the other half, and then when they lose the ball and find themselves not being able to track back quickly enough, way more unforgiving than it is in the Championship. And it happens quite a lot. I think Bogle will be more guilty of that than Firpo, to be honest. And it'd be interesting to see how that pans out with the way he likes to play in the Prem. Obviously, had a little spell up there already. So in terms of attacking fullbacks, generally, it'd be interesting to see how that pans out. But hey, if he's got a contract on the table, we'd all like him to sign it, right? It's just whether he wants to, I guess.
Exactly, that's the thing.
Joe, can I just come back to a point that Lockie said on that as well?
Yeah, of course.
That you made a really good point, and it's something that I try to bring up in conversations when I'm talking about any type of football, really. You said that if he had the defensive part to his game as well, he wouldn't be playing for Leeds. And I think that's something that fans of a lot of clubs need to realise. If everyone's moaning at Pirro for the pressing, for the work rate, for the pace, if Pirro had pace and work rate, he wouldn't be at Leeds United.
Yeah.
So we're getting angry at the things that he doesn't have, but them things that he doesn't have means that he is playing for us. If you get a player with that finishing, that you also have pace into his game and sort of the power of pressing, he wouldn't be at this football club. So that's something to bear in mind when you're going for these signings as well. Like, you've got to look at why they would be coming to Leeds rather than a team that's established even in the top 6 or top 4 or something like that. I just thought it was a good point that you made, that you sometimes have to look at what they're bringing to the table rather than what they're not. I've heard it a lot, like when I've been coaching and things like that. Oh, why are you playing him? You can't do this, you can't do that. But you can do these things. And if he did have that extra yard of pace, or, he could put a ball in the box every single time, he wouldn't be playing this level of football. So when we're looking at signings and things like that, it's sort of, I know it's poor to say, but you've got to realise where you are in the pecking order of the players that you're looking for. And if you can get a player like Firpo on a 3-year deal who wants to be here, you've got to do it. You have to do it.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's that great. We used to have the same conversations with Pat. Like, if Pat could finish on a regular basis, he'd be gone, man. He'd be flying, Pat, because everything else is fucking brilliant, isn't it? Really, if he stays fit.
If Adama Traore could play football, he'd be playing for Real Madrid, wouldn't he?
Yeah, nah.
I love our progression of conversations over Patrick Bamford, Joe.
Mate, honestly,
it's the only reason I'm back, actually.
Journey. Yeah.
I think your biggest life journey might be Patrick Bamford. Because that's where you started, man. In the garage.
Yeah.
I never want to see him in a Leeds shirt again. And now, look at him. He's tanned. He's thinned out. His channel's booming. He's got tattoos.
It's
I
true.
love Patrick Bamford. If Patrick Bamford could finish
Let's talk
regularly.
about that, though.
Just before you get onto it,
it's digging me out. I'm quickly moving it on.
Sorry, I don't want to talk about your tan
without saying anything. I've got to dip out because I've got to get onto another podcast because I'm a podcast slut. So I will.
Sorry, Mr. Celebrity.
Ash was there,
I'm not really, but I will see you all later, and hopefully see a lot of you at the parade tomorrow as well. So,
yes, man.
Yep.
Take care, everybody.
Where you at, Paul?
Enjoy, Paul.
I'm meeting my brother-in-law off with the train, so I'm going to be near Queens, but we're going to try and find somewhere close. So in and around, I'd probably say in and around Queens area. Would have thought, because they're coming up Wellington Street, aren't they? So.
And which pod are you going to?
Now.
Yeah.
Nalp, not another Leeds podcast.
Right. Just so we can send everyone over after. That's all.
All right. No worries.
Say hello for me to the madman.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see what they've got.
Mi amico.
Yeah, mad one. Yeah, so, right, there you go. Paul, thank you very much. Cheers, buddy.
Take it easy, lads. See you soon.
Cheers, brother.
No worries. Boys, just to finish up then, because I don't want to do it too long, man. I'd love to speak to you all night, but obviously we're an hour and 10 minutes in already, and people will switch off if we go too long. So we were just talking about Pat, but as a wider picture, I guess. And I'll come to you, Andrea, with this song. So yeah, we haven't heard from you in a bit, and then we'll go around. What do we need to do? Like someone like Pat, Byram, Gulavogi, these players on the periphery. We already have a small squad. Do they stay? But then you hear Parag say, "Look, there probably is going to be outgoings to help with the PSR." What does that look like? You mentioned Gruev in our group chat before, and I was thinking about it when Parag said that. It's like, well, you pay $5 million for him. If a team in Germany wants to take him, you're probably doubling that. So again, that helps, and you can bring in a better replacement like we saw with Kamara this summer. Do you know what I mean? So what kind of action are you expecting, I guess?
On Bamford, you mean? Yeah.
Just in general. Bamford, but just as a general point, really.
Well, first and foremost, you need to sort out the outgoing players, as soon as possible, honestly. I think they said they already planned, in advance for the Premier League. And there won't be sentimentality, there won't be sentimental. Unfortunately, in these cases, I think that you only have what happened with Bielsa once. It's it cannot be replicated, now in the current Premier League. What Bielsa did with that squad, with just the addictions of Rodrigo, Llorente, Koch, and Rafinha, those players, and all the others were the same. Right now, it's not possible. You need to change. You need to invest heavily. Right now, honestly, I think around 5 players, maybe, especially the defenders. I think Bogle, maybe. Yeah, Bogle, 100%. Ampadu in the 6. But all the others are up for discussions, honestly, in the Premier League. So I think a huge investment is needed all around. If you can retain maybe Solomon, but there's other players like Fober for me, not good enough for the Premier League. You need to get at least 2 new defenders, apart from Stroik and Rodon. You need to get another left back to alternate with Firpo. You need to get another right back, because I think Schmidt is not good enough right now. He needs to maybe get out on loan. We'll see. There's this light coming. I don't know why. But yeah, honestly, even in midfield, you need to strengthen at least get to, I think, Gruev, you mentioned him, but I think he's a player I love, because he's fearless, he's strong, he gets into passing lanes a lot, tries to recover the ball winning midfielder, but I think the time it takes for him to pass the ball or move around is slow compared to the Premier League rhythm and intensity, honestly. It's not his fault, of course. It's the type of player he is, but honestly, I think you need to get at least... You cannot go into the season with the Ampadu and Gruev as your 2 options for the number 6 position. So I think you need to get another one. If you keep Gruev, is the third option for me in the number 6. Should be the third option, at least. Then you have Tanaka. I want to retain Rothwell, I'm honest. I think Rothwell is properly suited for a top challenge in Championship side. So you need to get other midfielders to alternate with Tanaka there. Of course, number 10 is the main position. I don't know about Aronson, honestly. I'm really in doubt around him. I think he did pretty well compared to the fact that it was the first time for him playing in that role in the Falke system. But yeah, you need absolutely, of course, not as a starter. You can keep him around, but even as a backup, honestly, you need 2 proper number 10s for me in the Premier League. On the wingers, we're pretty well. But again, I think you need to strengthen the department there, because Solomon did well. Gnonto, even this season, he had great moments and bad moments where he struggled in form. Dan James in the Premier League, he barely played as a winger for Leeds when he was there because of all those injuries, but he had good moments at Man United. Of course, right now, I think 1 for the left and 1 for the right. You need players that can challenge them. And the number 9, Pirot, of course, but not as a starter for me right now. And I think you need 2 number 9s, because all the teams have at least 3 good number 9s. You have to see what you want to do with Bamford. Bamford is under contract till 2026, so he's going into the last season of his contract. It's difficult to place him around, especially with the wages when he's signed this contract, and this contract was signed in the Premier League. Byram and Guilavogui, for example, they are out of contract, but I will give them 1 more year. They know their place. They know they're going to be a rotation player. They're going to be like, they are at an age that they can be sporadic players, helping in training and being called upon in emergency. But you need to keep the core of the team and the experienced players, because if you lose, of course, we have new leaders coming out and emerging this season, like Rodon, for example, Ampadu. But even the most experienced players, honestly, because of course they won't wait a lot on the finances, of course, because the wages are not the wages of starters, So I keep them around, honestly, in a different role, and for that specific role, of the experienced players on the pitch. I think me and Lockie talk about it. I think Milner, everyone will talk about Milner, despite the age and everything. I think his story needs to run at least before he retires, honestly. But yeah, I think a lot of work is needed. More than 6 or 7 players around, honestly. Keeping a lot of the current spot as backups, because the gap is so huge,
Yeah. Forget about that, actually. Harrison. he'll get sold as well, won't he? So that's a fair shout. Forget about
You need
that.
to sell him, honestly. I won't keep him, honestly.
Yeah.
You've also got to remember that you've got to have a homegrown amount as well within the squad.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
that's why I can see Byram, Cairns, maybe. And then it's going to get talked about, isn't it, Phillips? Players like that coming in or getting signed just to fulfill the quotas within that. And that's a massive part. I can see Aronson drifting into the background and maybe not even been sold. I think the PSR break even for him this summer is about 12.5 million. So to cut our losses and have a zero on him, we'd have to get a bit of that. Within that, I think the money would have to. Are you going to let him go for a PSR zero?
Yeah.
That just say goodbye to the player of that quality for a zero. Not even any upside. Just let him walk out the door.
Yeah, don't make sense.
I don't think you are. I think I can see him being a fourth choice wide player for us, cup player, and I think you need to get to a stage in the Premier League where your first team is unrecognisable to when you have a cup game, and I don't think that's the case for us at the moment. I think that sometimes if you watch an early league cup game, you've got players with sort of 40, 50 squad number on the back for these Premier League teams that are coming out, and teams going up have to have a base and a squad, otherwise they're going to be playing constant games all season. I think we need to allocate the PSR sort of monetary values to key positions. I think Bamford, I think we cut him a deal at the end of the season and he goes either on loan or we pay some of his wages and he goes out on loan. I think Perrault could even end up maybe start off first, second choice striker, but by the time we get into the season, I think he's going to end up maybe even third and maybe even a second choice number 10 option. We need a killer up front. Every team that has stayed up has had a solid base and a killer that has got them goals, kept them up in that division. If you look at Bournemouth and Solanke, Mitrovic at Fulham, you need that player that is going to make an impact in the Premier League. And with how fast the game is, I mean, we were watching that Liverpool-Chelsea game earlier, and it was like watching yesterday on fast forward. And in the first half, was it Madueke scored an offside goal, but Cole Palmer played a ball through to Neto, and it was just like watching a different sport. And they have 22 players that can do that. They have 2 teams that can do that. This is why it's just got to be bang on in every single position. And the key to that is getting the PSR application in the right places. There's frees out there. Joe picked one a couple of weeks ago. I don't know how. He just, got one thing right every so often. And he picked out Decore. Someone like that on a free, it's not digging into your PSR budget. Ben Davis, back up, left back up, left centre half on a free, not digging into your PSR budget. You've got the likes of Solomon, who's going to cost you 15 million, which is very small for a Premier League fee. You have to front load this money into the top end of the pitch. I think the 9 is going to keep us up or send us down. End of story.
As Farag said, though, if we're looking for like PSR profit, obviously that helps when you sell players that you brought in for next to nothing, doesn't it? Or academy product. So I'm looking at that instantly, and I think Mateo Joseph, everything's profit.
Yeah.
Even people like Strauch, it's all profit. That's kind of, are we going to sell players like that potentially? I didn't actually see that, Joe. I didn't know he said that, to be fair.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
I'm trying to, because that makes me think then who are these people then? Because you look at our squad, he's not going to sell. We're not going to sell the likes of Tanaka or any of them like that. We're going to keep them. It's the ones on the outside or the ones that we can get maximum profit from. And for me, they are the Josephs and the Strauchs. Don't know what you guys think about that. It's a bit.
Is Nonto ever talked about in Italy, Andrea?
No, not at all.
Never.
Not at all. I think they made a post, but it's a page, it's a website for him in English football. But yeah, he's not is not estimated. You say he doesn't have a lot of trust here in Italy. He's like every time the national team loses, it's like compared to England, the level of talent in England, and they say, oh, we have Gnonto, like saying, oh, look at them, they have like Lewis Kelly, they have Bellingham, and we have Gnonto, like in a negative way. So yeah, it's not talked about because people here think that a second division is like our local second division, Serie B. So yeah, and on Harrison, I agree with that, but I think that we need to consider too the fact that he's on Premier League wages, because when he signed the new contract, because remember he was supposed to go to Leicester on the final day of the deadline day, and it didn't happen, and then rewarded him with a new contract. So consider the fact that that contract was masterminded by, we know who, by the old hierarchy, he's gonna have some good wages, and same as the players that left and went on loan. So I don't think it will be a good player in this system. Honestly, I think he was always an inconclusive, frustrating player because he was clutch for us in some good moments. But I think his decision making, is like every time when he got the ball, it takes a lot of time for him to make a decision. He's like waiting on the ball. That's the thing. So yeah, I think his story at Leeds is over. So if we can get the deal, even if get him another loan. But yeah, I don't know if Everton would put him a bid for him or not. But I think
apparently Moyes likes
he's
him.
He's not famous there by fans.
No, not by fans.
Well, hopefully he is in their plans. Yeah, I mean,
it was McNeil's first game back at the weekend, and Harrison was straight out when he was in.
Oh, was it? Right. Okay.
Yeah, and he scored.
That's fine.
Hopefully that's the case, mate. Hopefully that helps them purchase him. For me, as I say, I think we've got a lot of players in the squad who are actually capable of making that step up. I mean, I look at Bogle, for example, who's got Premier League experience. Firpo's got Premier League experience. Striker's got Premier League experience. You said you'd sell Voba, but he was actually phenomenal for us when we were in the Premier League. He's another player who's got Premier League experience.
Please say that loosely.
Different system though, lads, because
phenomenal.
No, different system. Yeah. I understand. But I'm saying we've got a lot of players in the squad who have played Premier League football. Dan James has played Premier League football. Harrison's cut his teeth. I don't think he's ideal. Solomon has got Premier League experience. I think we've got a lot of decent Premier League experiences. I don't want us to sign 9-10 players to build 3-4 squads. I want us to buy 5 top quality £30 million. I mean, people are rumouring we've got 160 million odd to spend, and if we sell a couple players, that's good. I want us to go out 5 big signings, £30 million, top striker, top number 10, top holding midfielder to sit next to Tanaka, top centre half, and then a top class winger as well. Those are what I would do. I think 5 top signings with the players we've got around them. Maybe you add in a couple of £5 million backup right backs, backup left backs here. But otherwise, I think if you add those top quality players, build out the spine of the team and flesh it out with what we've already got, that's a winning recipe, if you ask me.
Did you say goalkeeper, JT, in that?
No, I did not say goalkeeper because I think I would buy a backup keeper. But as I said, I think Melier has been given a harsh rub.
Backup for because they're both under contract, Melier and Darlow.
Melier gets
back up for Melier and leave Darlow.
No, we need to sell him, man. We need to sell him.
Okay, well, if you sell him, you buy a new keeper. But I'm saying I wouldn't sell him. But if you do sell him, you buy a new keeper, of course.
Are you saying Melier starts in the Prem?
I would start him, but if not, go and get someone on loan who's decent.
I thought you'd grown up, man.
Hey, shut up, you donkey.
I got told in panel. He's right next to me, man.
I got told you'd grown up, man.
Shut
and
up,
you're still
mate.
coming out with these just wild takes to be different.
These aren't wild takes, mate. Just because you got your veneers and your BBC contract, you want to give it the big one this time, saying I've grown up, mate. Sorry,
hey, put your abs away, man. Put your abs away.
My abs aren't even in shot, brother. So don't be trying that.
Well, I can't not have my teeth in shot. I'll speak like
right.
That.
Yeah.
No, I think he goes and he knows he's going. I think he's been more relaxed. Yeah. Look at how he's been in the celebrations and stuff. You can tell how different he looks to when he were in the team.
Agreed.
He's actually enjoying being there, and I think that it's already done.
It's done. It's done.
It's already done. Definitely.
Boys, I do need to bring it to a close. I need to get an early night. I'm up early and picking people up and driving to Leeds. Go on. Yeah, go on.
Do not this time around rely on sentiment, because that whole conversation.
You're speaking to the chief fucking captain of sentiment FC.
But that whole conversation that I've just heard, like the things have like been, and in my head I'm like, oh, it'd be great to see Byram in a Premier League shirt, and like it'd be great to see Bamford score one more Premier League goal in a Leeds shirt, and it'd be great to see this, it'd be great to see that. If you actually strip it all back and just go, are they good enough? Can they cut it? You'd have to be deadly honest and say no.
Agreed, but
it's like sentiment. It'd be lovely to see this. It'd be lovely to see that. If we're gonna have if we're gonna be serious and be like, right, they've got to go. There are certain players squad worthy. Starting nowhere near, then sort of floating around in the background. Maybe you could honour Byram because academy and stuff, but that's sentiment. It's not because of Byram's.
But like's been said, though, and I do agree with you, mate, but it's that homegrown quote, or it's why the likes of City have Carson, etc. on the books.
It takes more than one window to get a proper squad. You can't.
Exactly.
Get 13 players.
Just on that point as well, I think you're right, and Andrea will know as well, with the likes of basketball and things like that, we have American owners. Look how cutthroat the likes of basketball owners and things like that are.
Yeah.
There's reports of, like, players coming into training and the stuff's in a bin bag and they've been traded, and that's it. We need an extra pick. That's the way American sport works.
Yeah.
And I can't see that happening at all. And
without looking,
Moneyball is a good movie for that, for that.
Boys, without looking, please, I want to see your hands. Put your hands up so I can see you. Put your hands up. Who just won Young Player at Year? Don't look in the chat.
Young Player of the Year.
Giovogi.
Willie Nonto, Willie Nonto.
Young.
We don't really have
21, lads.
Yeah.
What's the age?
Telling me Byram didn't win it.
Tanaka won goal of the season for his goal against Hull. That's currently going on at the Leeds United official awards. But there's no live stream of it or out like that, unfortunately. But
who's won Streamer of the Year?
It's obviously me, isn't it? I'm joking.
It's the only one who streams, man. Nobody else.
No. Big up. Right, listen, we'll bring it to an end. Legends, thank you so much. It's great to see some old faces. Big up to Lewis back in the court. Big up to Roman Reigns, Mr. JT Live.
Been flicking his hair for the past 5 minutes.
He's a beautiful looking man, though. You've got to give him credit, man. He's a beautiful looking man. Amazing debut for Danny B. Big up, mate. We'll have you back, of course. I know your lady friend will be absolutely buzzing as well. She put a little post on Instagram saying, "I'm there." I said she'll be right.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it.
No,
just focused. It was focused.
Yeah, on the prize. Eyes on the prize. Danny was supposed to join us as well. Danny Snowden, who's a regular watcher and goes to Leeds games. Unfortunately, her connection was down, but she will be back in the future. And, of course, the regulars, everyone's favourite Italian and Mr. Lockie Leeds, who's going to have a very busy summer scouring the European scouting networks and telling us who to sign. But, yeah, thanks, everyone, for watching. It's been an amazing season. This is the last final word, of course, until we start again. So, big up to everyone who's supported this show. Big up to Jack and Luke and everyone else who's regularly appeared on it, Evie and the crew. Paul, who came on as well. And then after Monday, Tuesday, it'll be like, right, who we buying and who we selling. So it doesn't stop. But listen, thanks everyone for watching. Go check out these amazing content creators. Apart from Andrea, who's in a different country, we'll all be at the parade. So if you see us, come say hi. And, enjoy your evening. And I have put a redirect on for Not Another Leeds pod. So go on over, and I want you to put Just Joe Raid. I want to see you over there for Not Another Leeds pod. Show Danny some love. So in the chat, put, I don't know, Just Joe Raid, Fire Beast, Farkas Stain, 10-point gap, whatever you like. Anyway, peace out, people. Bye-bye.